We often think of great communication as something we do for other people, right? Like giving a speech, leading a team, or trying to win a negotiation. But what if the most powerful communication skills weren't really about convincing others, but about mastering the conversation we have inside our own heads? To really get a handle on that, let's start with maybe the greatest communicator of our time.
Yeah, when you think of a master communicator, it's pretty hard not to picture Steve Jobs up on a stage. The guy had this uncanny ability to make every single product launch feel like this huge, world-changing event. But was it some kind of magic, or was there a method to his madness?
Well, the truth is, Jobs' legendary status wasn't just some accident of natural charisma. Nope. It was built on a solid foundation of skills anyone can learn. A really deep understanding of how to structure a message, how to use language, and how to create a real emotional connection.
When you really break it down, you see it wasn't just raw talent. It was a performance, and a carefully constructed one at that. He was theatrical, dramatic even. He'd use props to make big ideas feel real and tangible. He knew how to structure his talks like a three-act play, building suspense. And at the very core of it all, he was an absolute master of rhetorical devices, that ancient art of persuasive language. So, let's pull back the curtain a little bit and deconstruct two of his most powerful secret formulas. Think of these as super effective tools in any speaker's toolkit. Okay, first up is a device called anaphora. Now, it sounds kind of complex, but it's actually incredibly simple and really powerful. All it is repeating a word or a phrase at the start of a bunch of sentences, one after the other.
And here it is in action. Just listen to the rhythm he creates. We've got the. See, that repetition isn't just for style points. It absolutely hammers the point home. It makes the message stick in your brain, and it builds this incredible momentum. It's like a drum beat for his ideas. Next up, he loved to use climax, and this is all about building up to the big reveal. You just arrange your ideas in ascending order of importance, making that final point feel like the peak of a mountain you've just climbed with him.
Here's a perfect example. He's not just listing off innovations. No, he's telling a story of evolution. The mouse, revolutionary. The click wheel, a total game changer. And then the punchline, multi-touch. By structuring it just like that, he turns the final point into this huge historic moment.
So, okay, we've seen how Jobs used these tools to persuade a massive crowd. But this is where our story takes a really fascinating turn. Because the most important person you will ever have to persuade isn't sitting in an audience. They are right inside your own head.
I mean, what if we took that same level of care, that same deliberate scripting of a message, and applied it not to thousands of people in an auditorium, but to the audience of one inside our own mind, especially in those moments when we're feeling really stressed out?
Because think about it, just like a speaker has a toolkit for persuasion, we can have our own toolkit for inner calm. These are simple structured techniques we can use to manage our internal state when things start to feel like, well, a little too much.
Here's a great example. Think of this as a little emergency script you can run the second you feel that stress starting to rise. First, you step back, literally, just remove yourself from the situation. Second, take a breath, which actually slows your heart rate down. Third, you refocus on the here and now, not all the what-ifs, and only then do you engage and decide what you're going to do next. It's a structured way to hit the brakes on that downward spiral of stress.
We can also reframe our internal script. It's a technique called cognitive reframing. Basically, you identify what's stressing you out, you notice the negative story you're telling yourself about it, and then you actively challenge that story. Is it really true? Is it helpful to think this way? Then you deliberately rewrite it, just like Jobs would tweak a line in a keynote speech. So instead of, this is a total disaster, maybe it becomes, okay, this is a challenge, and I can probably learn something here.
Now, besides the words in our head, we can actually script our body's response too. And one of the most direct, powerful ways to do that is with something called the 4-7-8 breathing technique. It's like a simple physiological reset button.
Here's how it works. It all starts with a nice, gentle inhale through your nose for a count of 4 seconds.
Next, you just hold that breath for a count of 7. This is the really important part, that little pause where your body starts to reset itself.
And finally, you exhale completely through your mouth. You can even make a little whoosh sound for a full count of 8. That longer exhale is the real key to kicking your body's relaxation response into gear.
And if that feels calming, I promise you are not imagining it. There's real science here.
A major review of studies shows this simple little script has a huge impact. It's proven to reduce anxiety, it can improve your cardiovascular health, and most importantly, it activates your rest and digest system. That's the body's natural antidote to that fight or flight stress mode.
So here it is. Here's the ultimate takeaway. The very same deliberate, script-like practice that Steve Jobs used to revolutionize technology, we can turn that inward to completely revolutionize our own response to stress.
It's all about applying those principles of masterful communication. Things like structure, repetition, and intentional framing to the single most important conversation you have every single day, the one with yourself. Whether it's a 5-step plan, reframing your thoughts, or a simple breathing script, the point is you are in control.
Steve Jobs used his words to change the world of technology. So the question for all of us is, by mastering our own internal script, what part of our own world, our own well-being, our own response to life, can we change for the better?